She thought time was neutral. She thought it waited. She thought it stretched to accommodate ambition, freedom, exploration, and delay. She thought biology would negotiate. Didn't. Before we go deeper, hit subscribe and like the video. This is DepthRealm, where we expose the patterns people don't want to face. In her 20s, time felt infinite. Every year felt replaceable. Every decision felt reversible. Every door felt like it could be reopened later. She was told she could focus on herself first. Build a career. Find her identity. Explore options. Avoid settling. And the world reinforced it. Attention was abundant. Desire followed her effortlessly. Validation arrived without effort. So she internalized a dangerous belief that opportunity expands with patience. But biology doesn't expand. Contracts. At first, there were no consequences. That's how the trap works. She dated casually. She postponed commitment. She told herself she was being selective. She told herself she was waiting for the right time. Time, however, was not waiting for her. Biology never announces itself loudly. It doesn't warn. It doesn't threaten. It simply shifts the math. In her early years, attraction felt external. Men pursued. Options competed. She chose or didn't, and nothing disappeared. She learned another dangerous lesson. That leverage is permanent. But leverage is rented, not owned. As years passed, the changes were subtle. Not dramatic losses, but quiet recalibrations. The men approaching were different. The urgency felt different. The interest felt less patient. She noticed, but dismissed it. She told herself men were intimidated. She told herself standards were filtering people out. She told herself she still had time. And technically, she did. But biology doesn't operate on technicalities. It operates on probability. Here's the truth no one explained to her. Time affects men and women asymmetrically. Men gain leverage with time. Women lose leverage with time. Not because women lose value, but because biology assigns different windows. Men's desirability is cumulative. Women's desirability is front-loaded. And no amount of ideology changes that curve. This isn't cruelty. It's reproduction. The body doesn't care about fairness. It cares about viability. She thought fertility was a switch she could flip when ready. She thought attraction would follow her timeline. She thought love would wait until she finished becoming herself. But biology doesn't reward completion. It rewards timing. The shift didn't feel like rejection. It felt like resistance. Men hesitated more. Conversations stalled. Commitments slowed. Not because she became unattractive, but because selection criteria changed. Men stopped asking, "Is she exciting?" They started asking, "Is she aligned? Is she emotionally regulated? Is she ready to build now, or still exploring?" Readiness began to matter more than potential. And this is where panic begins quietly. Not loud panic. Internal panic. The kind that shows up as restlessness. As urgency disguised as standards. As pressure disguised as clarity. She began wanting certainty faster. Commitment sooner. Reassurance earlier. And men felt it. Because urgency leaks. Men can sense when they're being evaluated against time rather than chosen out of desire. And no one wants to be someone's last chance. This is the brutal irony. The longer she waited to choose, the more she wanted to be chosen, and the less attractive that energy became. Biology doesn't just affect fertility. It affects psychology. As time feels scarce, attachment intensifies. As attachment intensifies, pressure increases. As pressure increases, desire decreases. This is the loop no one warns her about. She thought waiting would increase clarity. It increased anxiety. She thought freedom would protect her. It trained her nervous system to avoid attachment. So when she finally wanted stability, she was emotionally unpracticed. She had learned how to leave, not how to stay. And staying is a skill. The men she wanted now were different too. More selective, more cautious, less willing to gamble. They weren't chasing excitement anymore. They were protecting peace. And peace doesn't pursue urgency. This is where the realization hits. Not all at once. In fragments. When another situationship ends without progression. When another not ready conversation appears. When another man chooses someone else quietly. She tells herself she's unlucky. But luck isn't the variable. Timing is. She didn't lose men because she waited. She lost men because waiting changed how she showed up. Biology doesn't just close doors. It changes behavior inside the room. She became more guarded, more analytical, more defensive. Not because she wanted to be, because time pressure rewired her responses. She wanted outcomes, not experiences. Answers, not exploration. And men don't fall in love under audit. This is why biology feels cruel. Not because it punishes women, but because it reveals truth without apology. It reveals that time is not neutral. It reveals that some opportunities require early action. It reveals that desire has windows. She thought she could compress commitment later, that she could decide quickly when ready. But bonding doesn't compress well. It requires repetition, shared history, gradual trust. You can't rush intimacy without destabilizing it. And men sense that instability. They feel when a woman wants the outcome more than the process. And they pull away. Not out of malice, out of self-preservation. This is the cost of believing time is flexible. It creates a mismatch between desire and readiness. She wanted stability but had spent years optimizing optionality. Optionality trains indecision. Indecision erodes trust. Trust is the foundation of long-term selection. By the time she wanted to build, she had trained herself to hesitate. And hesitation reads as risk. The cruelest part is this. She did nothing wrong intentionally. She followed the advice given. She prioritized growth. She avoided settling. She trusted the narrative. But narratives don't override biology. Biology doesn't care about intention. It responds to timing. This is why the realization feels humiliating. Not because she failed, but because no one told her the rules. She thought she was investing wisely. She was deferring at compound interest. Time charged her quietly, and the bill arrived as fewer options, higher stakes, and lower tolerance. This is where bitterness can form. She blames men. She blames society. She blames dating. But biology isn't blamable. It just is. Some women adapt at this point. They stop negotiating attraction. They stop performing independence. They stop chasing outcomes. They recalibrate. They soften. They choose earlier. They allow vulnerability before urgency sets in. And for them, the window narrows but doesn't close. Others don't adapt. They double down on delay. They raise standards without changing strategy. They demand certainty without offering peace. And biology doesn't bend. It doesn't argue. It doesn't compromise. It simply keeps time. The final truth is this. She didn't miscalculate men. She miscalculated time. She believed readiness could replace timing. But timing creates readiness, not the other way around. Biology doesn't wait for certainty. It rewards action within windows. And once a window narrows, wanting more doesn't widen it. That's not punishment. That's physics. And once you see that, you stop asking why things feel harder. You understand why. See the pattern. Protect your energy. This is DepthRealm.